It is Wednesday, the 25th day of June, 2025, and it's becoming somewhat acceptable that every day we wake up, check the news, and see that our country, this administration, most of the population, this president, this cabinet, this Congress, everyone is still out of their fucking minds. That's right. Just another week in paradise, right? And no matter what happens, half the population is going to try and explain it all away as if it's normal, or this is how it should be, or some other fucking cockamamie nonsense. I could literally be talking about anything, though, right now, couldn't I? That's just how things have gone. Of course, today, in my mind, it's the fact that the Constitution is suddenly in need of a rewrite. If you ask some people, and those same people would just as soon wipe their ass with it than rather than follow it. But it's only been about 250 years of history of this country, but apparently that's the expiration date that they seem to think John Hancock wrote on the back of the sheet. This time, they're just wagging the dog, dropping bombs on Iran, putting a minor dent into their nuclear facilities. This is what I don't understand, right? How do people not fucking get that? And I don't know this for sure, all right? But let's think logically here. So you're trying to tell me that every single country that's enriching uranium is building a bomb. I mean, it very well could be, but do you realize how I don't know. Fuck that. It's not even the point. Russia has more fucking nuclear weapons than we do, yet we're not bombing them. Why? Well, because they're not a soft target. And Israel didn't tell us to do it. But again, we're just wagging the dog, right? That's all it is. To make people fucking forget about all the dumb shit that's going on here. And all that dumb shit that's going to literally fuck them straight up the ass at some point. You, me, everybody. Everybody? Everybody. So nobody gets that joke. My pal John might get the joke. It's not really a joke, but whatever. I'm still convinced that somebody wakes people up, and that the whole thing comes crashing down. One way or the other. Either the whole country fucking collapses and we have to start from scratch, or, somebody grows a fucking pair and tells these people to fucking cut the shit. It's getting less likely by the day. So that's enough of that talk. But, again, it's my show, so fuck you. This week, though, I'm going to talk about getting old. I'm going to talk about Karen Reed. I'm going to talk about Diddy, snack foods, Jeff Bezos, the Red Sox, the Celtics, and probably some other shit that you don't care about. All that and more on episode number 191 of Complaints and Observations.
Still, a voyage into the mundane and an exercise in futility. Swimming in the absurd while drowning in unearned self-importance. Entirely unworthy of your time. It is the world's worst podcast. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
Okay. What's up? How are you? How's things? Staying cool? Huh? Yeah. My Google weather app yesterday told me that in Boston it hit 105, which is a record for the month of June. Isn't that exhilarating? And then I hear people like, "Oh, I love this. This is great." Like, no, man. This is the kind of weather that could kill people. But, again, um Empathy is a trait that is lost on most everybody these days. Nobody fucking cares about the well-being of others. And it's fascinating to me. But that's a topic for another day. What I do want to start the show with, um, the biggest news of last week, and quite frankly, I was thrilled that it came out after I recorded last week's episode, which was the not guilty verdict in the Karen Reed trial. So, um, wow, huh? Isn't that something? Everybody's so happy. Karen Reed, that pillar of the community, that wonderful person, wrongly accused. Um, has to sit through 2 trials and a Netflix documentary, and probably another one to come, numerous episodes of 2020 and Dateline, all about her. What a shame. But now she's been exonerated until she gets found liable in the civil case somehow. We'll see. Here's the first thing that I need to just kind of throw out there. One, I don't care. Okay. Two, this is nothing more than an example of the rampant corruption that has gone on in this state and in small towns across the country for hundreds of years. This will not be the last time something like this happens. Unfortunately, it probably will be the last time that you see something get the kind of coverage that this had. So all the people that are on the side of the road holding signs, um, you're not going to care about the other people who are, wrongly accused or been sitting in jail for decades. You don't care about those people. You only care about Karen Reed. Now, there's probably a number of reasons why, but again, not reasons I'm going to get into at this point. But anyone with a pair of functioning eyeballs can probably figure it out. I'm happy it's over because now most people can go back to not caring about other stuff. Isn't that terrific? And that's the end of that. What I do find somewhat fascinating in the law scope, if you will, trial scope. I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say. This Puff Daddy thing, P Diddy Combs, Sean Combs, who apparently has white hair, been sitting in jail for however long, and he has not been able to maintain his youthful glow, if you will. This dude's a sick motherfucker. Okay, and just really adds to my theory that when you're a multi-billionaire, you turn into an outright fucking alien. You're not a normal human anymore. Because when you have that kind of wealth, you can do anything. So you just try to find things that you can't do, like legally can't do, or like, I don't know, beat up women. That's one. Manipulate people to the nth degree. That's two. Suddenly turn gay. And that's not illegal, but like you just try to do things to entertain yourself because you can do anything. And I think that's the case with this guy. And I think it's the same with Elon Musk. That fucking dude takes all kinds of drugs because it's like what else can he do? Nothing. So they all turn into fucking flat out batshit crazy aliens. And for some reason people worship the ground that they walk on just because they're rich, but they're not normal people. Like, not even close. And this guy, I tried doing like a little bit of a dive into this thing, into the trial. I just can't. Mainly because it's so stupid. Like, that's the biggest problem. Like, it's just really dumb. Like, this dude used to, just cover people in baby oil and Astroglide. And it's like, okay, what's the point? You're just fucking sliding around. Like, that's exciting to you? Cases upon cases upon cases of baby oil and Astroglide. It's insane. It's insane. Like, I mean, the guy shouldn't go to jail. Like, legitimately, should not go to jail. He should go into a fucking padded cell because that's nuts. I guess a padded cell can technically be considered jail, right? I don't know. But that's fucking insane, man. And you hear it all the time that people, people don't need that kind of money. They don't. Because when they get to a certain point, there's nothing else that you can do with it. You can't do anything else with that kind of wealth. So you just become a fucking deviant of some kind. Or just like a fucking, just weird. And look, in fairness, not all of them are flat out aliens, okay? Not all. Some. Most. But fucking hell. It's just so goddamn strange. And I'll talk a little bit more about Bezos. I don't know why I'm so quiet today. Why am I so quiet? I'm tired. And it's hot. I don't have the air conditioning on in here because I'm afraid that it's gonna like come through the microphone, which is probably not accurate, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not feeling it today. Sometimes and here's the thing, right? There is so much shit that I would like to talk about. There's a ton. But the last thing I want to do is record like a fucking 4-hour show here. Plus, I have to start work a bit early today, so that's another problem. Again, the downside of having a full-time job where you're trying to be a less than part-time podcaster is that you just don't have the fucking time or the attention span, which is my big problem. But yeah, P. Diddy. Like, if you haven't seen the photos that got released that the FBI took of his compound or his house, whatever you want to call it, like, you have to see it because it's just fucking weird. That's it. It's just weird. Like, he made some good music once upon a time, right? Okay, terrific. But yeah, now he's just a fucking old dude. He's just an old guy with a fucking weird sexual deviance. Oh, it's funny. But then again, weird sexual deviance, you know, there's a list out there of people with a similar sexual deviance. There's a lot of interesting names on it, but we're never gonna know. And if we do know, nothing's gonna happen because America, right? Yeah, let's find a way to fucking like normalize raping children because I'm sure that's coming down the road at some point. Give that time. Fucking yeah. Again, God, it's just so frustrating. Yeah. Stop idolizing rich people. Stop. Like, stop. All right, moving on. All right, so the Celtics made two moves this week. Two moves that most of us could see coming. Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis both traded straight money moves. Holiday brought back a decent player and Anthony Simons, good player. Apparently, a bit of a tree on defense, from what I've been reading. So that should go well. Um, I don't think Stevens is done, I'm puzzled that anybody picks up the phone when he calls, because he just managed to fucking get 2 contracts off their books that were massive, that were a bit of an albatross, both of which helped them win a title, which is fantastic. This is modern sports. These are the games that you need to play. And so in this instance, we have a billionaire who does not want to pay millions to keep a team together. So you've got to unload these contracts, get below the apron, which that's a conversation again for another day. Like, why is it called a tax apron? Who the fuck came up with that? Call it a shelf. Don't call it an apron. Like, we know what an apron is. Like, a shelf is much easier to visualize. Apron, tax apron. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh, didn't mean that. Uh, so now look, they are in a comfortable position. Apparently, they have about $1.25 to spend on other players, because they do need to kind of fill in some spots. However, they have 85 second-round picks. So I'm looking forward to the flotsam, maybe jetsam, that joined the bench this year in what is nothing more than a bridge season. I think they'll be fine. Do I think they're going to contend? No. Unfortunately, the good part is the East stinks. Like, the East is not good. It's kind of going back to where it was a handful of years ago, like when Miami was running things, and it was like the Heat are really good. Everyone out west is good, and everyone else in the East is just meh. So unfortunately, I think the way things stand, like the Knicks, as much as it pains me, although the Knicks don't have a fucking head coach, they also don't have a clue. So, I can't really be overly concerned with the Knicks, but talent-wise, they should contend in the East next year, because I don't see OKC losing again unless somebody gets hurt. And the way things go in the NBA these days, there's an Achilles injury coming. I don't know to who, but to somebody on that team, just because that's the law of averages nowadays. Bananas. Houston got better when they brought in Kevin Durant. Actually, Orlando got better too. I forgot about Orlando, mainly because it's Orlando. They haven't been relevant for 20 years. Desmond Bain, good player. But yeah, so look, the Celtics will be fine. They'll be a watchable team. They're gonna try. My guess is they try to develop some younger guys like Shireman, turn him into a shooter. Like, let him develop. You still have Pritchard. You still have White. You still have Brown. Like, you still have a playoff team for sure. And look, you might ruffle some some feathers. Ruffle some feathers. Yeah, Dave, that's a good one. You still might, make some noise. There we go. It's a much easier thing to say. Still might make some noise in the playoffs. Who knows? But yeah, they're not going to contend. So let's get that out of your mind. You know what though? Look, stranger things have happened, right? Indiana was 1 game away from being literally the worst team in NBA history to win a championship, like statistically. But boy, were they fun, huh? Never in my life would I have guessed that the Indiana Pacers and fun would be, synonymous. But man, Tyrese Halliburton turned into a goddamn star. He was already an all-star, really good player. But he turned into a legitimate star in these playoffs. He was fantastic. It sucks that he's out now for a year. But you've got just a bunch of guys with bum Achilles, probably because they never stopped playing basketball. So maybe but again, God forbid we cut the number of regular season games down to 60 instead of 82, because that's 11 gates the owners aren't going to get. Well, right, sure. Because all the TV money, all the streaming money, all the merch money, all the other money that they get apparently is not enough. Those 11 gates really fucking make a difference, right? I say 11, but it's 12. No, it's not because it's 22 games. 22 divided by 2, David, is 11. L. Evan. Apparently, that's also the name of a club down in Florida where the Panthers celebrated their Stanley Cup win. They racked up a alleged $500,000 bar tab. That tells me that the bar is overpriced. But again, it's the public's obsession with money and big numbers, so they report it that way, right? So that everyone goes, whoa, wow, they drank a lot of beer. All right, good. Congratulations, Florida. Happy for you. So that's the Celtics. I think the draft is tomorrow, so I'm very curious to see what happens here. I don't expect Brad to make like big moves into the lottery, but look, stranger things have happened, right? Like move off. But again, I don't know fucking anybody. Literally, like, admittedly, I know not a soul in this draft, with the exception of Cooper Flag. And the only reason I know anything about Cooper Flag is because he's the consensus number one by a long shot. He's from Maine. Uh, and that's pretty much it. I know he's good. I read a story about him yesterday saying that he's one of the most NBA ready players to ever come out. I'm like, ever? What? The league's like 100 years old. What do you mean, ever? The draft is like 50 years old. What do you mean, ever? Settle down. The poor kid has to go to Dallas. You know, I like some parts of Dallas, but Dallas and Maine, two totally different worlds. Curious to see how that goes. Anyways, the Red Sox last night, they lost again. The Red Sox are back to being shit. And they're back under 500. Right where they fucking belong. And you know who doesn't care? John Henry, Craig Breslow, Sam Kennedy. They don't fucking care. They don't care about anybody. They don't care about anything. Last night, Garrett Crochet goes out. 3 hits, over 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, no runs. And the bullpen comes in and gives it up. You know who fucking like won the game for the Angels yesterday? The same guy who apparently won the game for the Angels the other day. Their ninth hitter, their number 9 hitter, Christian Moore. Christian Moore, who is hitting under the Mendoza line and has for pretty much the entirety of his very, very short career. In fact, he has been, Jesus Christ, okay, he's a rookie. All right, take back everything I said. He's played 11 games. Uh, and it's funny, you know, he is a second baseman. Here's the other thing too, right? Is there anybody in baseball now that only plays one position? They're all listed as fucking 3 positions constantly. It's like, what are we doing here? It's fucking stupid. Anyway, so yeah, this kid, the number 9 hitter, Christian Moore, hit 2 bombs last night. 2. 2. And won the game for the Angels. Oh, what the fuck? Fuck this compute, honestly. Fuck you. Like, this should not be so hard, right? I don't even know if this thing is like recording. I don't know. Complaining. Maybe it's like the ghost of. I'm trying to think of a ghost. Fuck, that's so stupid. Shut up. Christian Moore. Oh wow, okay. He's a lot better than I thought he was. I thought he was just a bum, but he's not. 8th overall draft pick last year. Wow. So they rushed him up, and he fucking won a game for the Angels. Wow. Look at that, Christian Moore. Long and the short of it, though, the Red Sox blow. They blow. And again, I'm mad at myself for fucking falling for it like a fucking idiot. They can't lose enough. And honestly, next year they should be better because these kids are going to be like, you know, a little bit more experienced, but Roman Anthony last night, 0 for 5. And I'm pretty sure he's hitting like a buck 10. I'm sorry, 114. Yep. Oh, he went to that. Oh, wow. He went to high school at Marjorie Stoneham Douglas High School, where there was a shooting back in 2018. Wow, I didn't know that. Interesting. I mean, that was before he was there, although not by much. Ooh, boy, it's crazy. He's a fucking child. Like, honestly, the dude is very young. He just turned 21. God, that's crazy. Anyways, you won't send him back down like you did what's his name there, Christian Campbell. He's not, Anthony's not going to get sent down. Anyways, that's more Red Sox than I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, that'll do. All right, so I do want to go back to uh billionaires and just being generally shitty humans, and Jeff Bezos is getting married again. I'm not sure when. I want to say it's next week or this week, whatever, I don't know. But the other reason I knew about it is because there was a protest in Venice because he's basically, you know, uh, buying out most of the city. Now, it sounds a little weird, and I don't think it's entirely accurate, but he has bought out a number of hotels. He's bought out a number of just like restaurants and venues and different things. And of course he does all these things, and whoever put this thing together didn't seem to think that the Italians were gonna, you know, revolt, which they have, rightfully so. Because this is another one of those just stupid, opulent, like just flashing money around for no reason. Okay. And this, like, the thing that kills me about Jeff Bezos is his, the only reason the only way he was able to start this company is because he got a fucking gift from his parents. And it's always that thing that whenever you hear about somebody's like bio or somebody's backstory that is just a tiny footnote, right? It's never mentioned prominently, because instead of just saying, yeah, I got some help to start out, like they're so afraid to say it. And look, early on, I know he mentioned it, but he probably hasn't said it in God knows how long, because now he's worth $230 billion or whatever it is. Meanwhile, his first wife made a bunch of money from that divorce, rightfully so, because she was right there with him when he built the company, and she's giving it away like, I don't know, a normal person who has so much money that they don't need. Yet this guy wants to have he'd rather like take his employees, treat them all like dog shit, and then fucking buy out the city of Venice for a wedding to this woman who she looks like the Joker, okay? Like she looks like the Joker, like fucking giant fake tits. Uh her fucking that is the creepiest goddamn smile I have ever seen in my life. She's probably a delightful woman, but egads. But the whole story is just fucking stupid. 50 grand a person for the wedding. Like not a ton of people, but enough. 10 to 20 million bucks. She's got a 30 carat engagement ring. 30 carat. The guest list, Oprah, who is a phony. Uh, Orlando Bloom, who apparently has just left his his fiance Katy Perry, which quite frankly I get because what a weirdo. And then Tony Gonzalez. Remember Tony Gonzalez, Hall of Fame tight end, Kansas City Chiefs, Atlanta Falcons. Apparently that is his ex. So he's going to Venice for the wedding. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I've been to an ex's wedding. That's only because I was a giant loser. Like, Tony, you're a Hall of Famer. You can do fine. I'm pretty sure you have a family. What are you doing flying to fucking Venice to go to your ex-girlfriend's or ex-wife's fucking wedding to Jeff Bezos? Why would you subject yourself to that? What? Yeah, whatever. So the protesters, though, basically, uh, they went to a square in Venice. Like, forgive me because I can't remember the name, but they basically laid out a banner, and this is taking too long. See, this is why you should probably prepare, right? They lay out a banner, giant banner of Bezos's cackling face that says, "If you can rent Venice for your wedding, you can pay more tax." And that is a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Bezos pays less in taxes than you and I. That is a fact. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you, but again, you'd probably believe it. So fuck yourself. Greenpeace, who mostly is a kind of shitty organization anyway, they did something good. This is a good one, Greenpeace. Good on you. St. Mark's Square in Venice. Honestly, great banner, great protest, uh, and done in such a fashion that really harmed no one, which is not really Greenpeace's strong suit, but good on them. And so now he's been forced, or his planning people have been forced to kind of reconsider the wedding plans, which quite frankly is a minor inconvenience in the grand scheme of things. But again, a little bit of yeah, I don't know, there's a word for it, and I'm too stupid to think of it. But it's just it makes hopefully will make the guy think for a second. I doubt it. I doubt it, though he'll probably pay someone to think for him, or try to buy someone at Greenpeace to leave them alone, which I'm sure he's already tried, to be quite frank. Everybody likes money. Everybody loves money, but there's a limit. Like compromising your morals for $1 is just it's another thing I don't understand. But again, that's neither here nor there. So honestly, Jeff Bezos can fuck off. Congratulations on the wedding. I hope it all goes well. But still, you're a piece of shit and you can fuck off. Like, take some of this money that you used to pay for a wedding and fucking help your employees, the people that have made you so much money over the course of the last 2 decades. But what a fucking lousy concept, huh? Taking care of people, other people, empathy. Again, it's lost on the vast majority of this country, vast majority of these sorts of people. It's foolish. But what do I know? Eee. What else is going on? It's fucking hot. Yeah. Oh boy. What else is going on? Like that was pretty much it from my list, before I got a voicemail and uh it's yeah, that kind of day. There was again this morning when I was just kind of looking at stuff, like there's a lot of shit that I want to talk about, but I don't have the time. So instead I'm going to talk about nothing. Um yeah. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Um, what else do I have on my list? I don't know. That whole Fanatics Fest. Oh boy. Like I might take a day off just to fucking research Fanatics and Michael Rubin, because this strikes me as another one of these, again, alien billionaires that have now like ruined something. That whole thing, the number of people that went to this thing, right? And again, I don't begrudge people for going because it's a big event. Like it's an interesting thing, but like the cost to get in was through the roof. If you wanted like a meet and greet with a celebrity of some kind, that was through the roof. And then what you got, like I saw a video of the John Cena meet and greet, right? I mean, this thing had to have been at minimum $400 a head, at minimum. And it was exactly like that old video. Remember the old video of the security guard at like an English soccer game where he's just kind of like barely patting somebody down and then sending him through? That was the John Cena meet and greet. Shake hands, look at the camera, get a picture taken, off you go. That's the whole thing. And like that's worth dropping $400 for? And again, I don't know if that's an accurate total, but I don't know. I just find the whole thing so fucking stupid. But it is what it is, right? You know? All right, I got a voicemail from Mike, friend of the show. I'm reading the transcript. Quite frankly, I'm not pleased.
So I'm listening to the newest episode, and I had to pause it. It's getting pretty depressing. I'm feeling kind of sad. I was hoping to get a little, uplift as we're getting the show going again after a couple of weeks. He's back. Hopefully, it gets a little better. But I had to ask you here about this field day. Did you go to the La Liberty Junior High? I can't remember because I was there, and all I remember about field day for me was they basically just let us hang out outside. And they had a high jump set up, the high jump bar with the big cushion you fall into. And I just remember I was high jumping all day, and it was a lot of fun. And the most popular song at the time, which is all they played the whole day, was Ring Ding Dong, Ring a Ding 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 Dong, keep the heads ringing. So I don't know if you're older by a couple of years, but that was my experience. I don't know if you're experiencing anything like that, but that was just about the highest I ever jumped and the last time I ever high jumped. So I'm going to listen to the rest of this episode, and I really hope you cheer up a little bit here because the kids are out for summer. They're having a blast. We're sitting here working, and I have to work and somewhat be annoyed, keep an eye on the kids. This is the real seasonal affective disorder for me. So we really need that uplift here, buddy.
Well, excuse the ever-living fuck out of me. Do I look like a clown to you, Michael? Am I here to just fucking entertain you? I mean, and if that's the case, that's on you, buddy. If you come to me looking for entertainment, I feel bad. I did go to La Liberty Junior High School. I forgot that Mike was a Rainamite, but then went to private school after junior high, so he's shunned. Listen, field day at the junior high when I was in junior high, which is a few years before you, um, was a bit more of an affair, I must say. Yeah, there was a lot more going on. And again, like the egg toss, the three-legged race, the wheelbarrow. Is it wheelbarrow or wheelbarrow? I've always wondered that. because I've heard it and seen it both ways. Anyways, the high jump, I don't remember the high jump. And even if I did remember the high jump, I wouldn't have gone anywhere near it. That much I can tell you. Short, fat people do not attempt a high jump, nor should they be attempting dizzy bat when they're middle aged. Speaking of field day at the La Liberty Junior High School, rest in peace, Mr. Tartufo. Mike must remember Mr. T. Mr. T passed away a few months ago, I believe. Mr. T was classic gym teacher. Okay, classic, stereotypical gym teacher. Bigger guy, jock, made fun of the short, fat kids. Like, he used to call me and a couple other kids baby whales, which, would not fly these days and probably should not have flown back in 1991. But it did. And it's funny. Let's be honest, it's funny. Baby whales. But yeah, R.I.P. Mr. T. Not the Mr. T. Let's get that straight. uh, like, I love how he mentions the kids are out of school. Like, I give a fuck. That just means there are more of them around all the time, which is not good. So, terribly sorry that you're stuck parenting, Mike, and I'm terribly sorry that you've come to me for entertainment. That Dr. Dre song, that was a banger. Great song. Was that in Friday? Yeah, it wasn't Friday. Yeah. 1995. So I was, what, a junior in high school? Yeah. Junior high school, 1995. I think I had the cassette single for Keep Their Heads Ringing. Because I don't think, or maybe I bought the CD single. Remember those fucking things? What a waste of money those were. Wow. You're paying $9 for like the single, a remix, and then two like unreleased crap B-side songs. CD single. I must still have some of them. I know I have a bunch of Beastie Boys ones because I pretty much bought like every Beastie Boys CD I could find. Imports. I got a couple like Japanese imports, like poor recordings. CD singles. Wow, that's good stuff. Anyways, yeah, Mike. So I apologize. For being a bit of a downer. That happens sometimes. It's the world we live in at the moment. But yeah. Hey, you know what though? Before I get to like the end of the show, right? I do want to congratulate. Well, you know what? I could tie that into three gripes. No big deal. Um, One thing I did want to say, right? And it's I don't I don't go out telling people that I have a podcast. Like I don't, right? Because quite frankly, one, it's not good. Two, it's really just for me. But last weekend, my wife made it a point to mention to some of her friends and some of their friends and some of their kids and et cetera, that I had a podcast. So it became a whole thing. And it's that part that I don't care for. Because everybody wants to be on the show until I tell them they can be on the show. Right? And it's always like they always want to be on the show on their terms. Well, no, that's not how this works. Like, call the complaint line, leave a voicemail, 617-804-1557. 617-804-1557. Call the show. Complain, leave a voicemail. Yeah. But boy, oh boy, like just I just find that strange. Oh, I'd love. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't like to be on the show. Don't lie. Like Mike's got it right. Mike calls, leaves a voicemail. It's delightful. He always has a take. He always has a complaint. It's always entertaining. And that's why I enjoy when he calls in. Unless he's telling me that I'm not entertaining, in which case, honestly, dude, come on now. But yeah, everybody wants to be on the show until I tell them they can be on the show. But it's my show. They're my rules. So I dictate, uh, you know, what if you can be on the show, first and foremost. And it's usually sure, but then there's always a caveat. Oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that. Like, no, that's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fit. Start with the complaint line. Leave a voicemail 617-804-1557. Yeah, that's foolish. Good grief. Anyways, yeah. Hardy horror. All right, good news. It's the end of the show. Everyone's favorite part when it's almost over, where they can see the finish line and they say to themselves, what have I done with the last 45 minutes to an hour of my life? And you know what? I asked myself the same exact question. But it's time for 3 gripes. Gripe number 1, weddings. I don't really have a problem with weddings per se. Weddings themselves, they're always fun, good time. But you know what? The what I do have a problem with is the awkward act from the bride and groom immediately after the nuptials themselves. And like what they do like when they come out, right? So when they're introduced, the introduction of Mr. and Mrs. So and so. It's always funny when you see videos of these people and they're just uncomfortable. It's you invited all of these people. 98% of the people in the room. You know them. So there's no reason for you to be uncomfortable. None. And it's the people that don't like do anything or that don't try to like be entertaining. Those are the ones that I'm concerned about moving forward. Because it just looks awkward. You can see the awkwardness on their face. And it's just like, wow, did you like not do you not know who you married or do you not like know these people? Like what gives? What's going on? And I saw like a friend of a friend posted something on Instagram and he like filmed the introduction and I'm looking at and I kind of know the guy and he was kind of always a little bit socially awkward anyway. So it's like, okay, maybe it's that. But then there was some other apparently this was a big wedding weekend because there was a bunch of it on the Instagram stories. And it's just you can tell, at least I think that I can tell how these relationships are going to go based on these fucking 15-second Instagram clips. I give them 6 months. I give them 27 years and then one dies of cancer. I give them a week and a half, mainly because they realize that it's a giant fucking mistake. I give them 55 years of fucking absolute bliss, mainly only because of the way that they walked out during the introduction. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was just, it was one of those things I watched and I'm like, wow, I never noticed that. I've always noticed that some people are just awkward. And then I was thinking back, all right, for me, like what, we did the Steve Austin theme song came out and I wanted to do, the classic get 2 beers, smash them together. And I don't know. I don't remember much from that day, to be fair, which is a shame. It was enjoyable. But, details like that, my brain just doesn't process anymore. But yeah, anyways. Gripe number 2, people with cool names who turn out to be boring as hell. Oh, man. I had an interaction with, and I'm not going to say their names, but just let's just say their names were fucking great. Like husband and wife couple, great fucking names, and boy were they a fucking snooze fest. Oh, and it got me like to the point where I said to myself, if I ever got off my ass and like wrote a book or wrote a story or just kind of did something where I needed to name characters, this would be the names of the characters. So if down the road I do happen to write a book and there are characters named something fucking cool, you'll know. Like, oh, that's it. That's who he was talking about. So, just buckle up, sit tight, and about a decade or so, when that still doesn't materialize, you can wait a little bit longer. And the thing of it is, right? Most times when you meet someone who's got a cool name, they're decent people, right? But boy, these two were just kind of disappointing. Like I really wanted to continue working with them, but they just didn't. There was just nothing there. Again, an absolute outright shame. And you know people with cool names. You absolutely do. And if you don't, I'm sorry, because that's an experience. It's always like you'll be introduced to someone, you get their name, and you stop. Like, whoa. Like, that's a fucking cool name. Like people named after like tertiary TV characters or like just or after like musicians. Not so much anymore because now a common name, Jagger, Hendrix, those are fucking common names now. Those people, fuck off. If you're listening and you're planning to get pregnant, please, for the love of Christ, do not name your kids after fucking classic rock singers. Don't do it. It's foolish. They're dog names. They're not human names. Gripe number 3, getting old. This is not so much a gripe, and I'm fairly certain this was a gripe a couple weeks ago, but I don't remember. But I'm fairly certain I dove into this a little bit. I've enjoyed getting old. Like, legitimately enjoyed it, for the most part, to a point, right? Obviously, your body kind of changes, falls apart, whatever. That stuff is inevitable. If you're lucky enough to live a long life, your body is going to fail you. That's how you die. That's just how it is. But I see what kids, young adults, and I see what they're up to these days, and I am not at all impressed. Not impressed. I work with kids that are in their mid to late 20s, all the, probably like early 20s to late 30s. And then there's me, like a decade older, which is not ideal. But, well, I guess it is in some regards, but whatever. I am just constantly fascinated by the interactions that these people have with other people, okay? And dating is a big thing, right? And I'm fascinated by it. I was not like the best dater, quote unquote. I was a serial monogamist, right? A lot of relationships, short, long, whatever, but there was just a bunch, okay, before I finally found someone that was worth having an extended relationship with and married the love of my life, my saintly wife, Jennifer, the patience of a saint. But like these kids don't talk to one another, like they don't interact in public with other humans. And it just makes me wonder. It's like, how are you expecting to have a conversation? So let's say you meet someone over the internet, okay? Which, in fairness, is how I met my wife. But that was after way too much of meeting people in different places, saying hello to different people. Like, even that, like, just like smiling, saying hello, how you doing, making what my mother calls a 5-minute friend, and then seeing where it goes, right? That is how humans are or should interact. These kids don't do that at all. Like one of them yesterday says to me, I made the suggestion because he's talking about like dating and all these different like girls he's meeting and seeing, but they're all through apps, every one of them. And the other problem too is with these fucking apps is that there's free, there's no commitment. Which again, different from me. I paid to fucking meet my wife. Like it was the best thing I ever did. But like, uh, just fucking odd, just odd. And and one of them that I was talking to yesterday, like you're in sales, so you have to pick up the phone and call people. How is that different than talking to people at the bar or at the grocery store? I suggested the gym, and they all fucking looked at me like, "Whoa, you can't talk to people in the gym. You look like a fucking weirdo." I'm like, okay, whatever. Don't go to the gym then, you fucking clowns. Go to fucking Trader Joe's. Go to Target. Although that's more of an older set. I always said to myself, if I ever became single again, that's where I'm going. Target and Trader Joe's. Those places are crawling. Crawling. But like you could meet somebody over the avocados. You could, legitimately. You picking up avocados, you feeling them, you make a joke, boy, this one feels weird, huh? And then you like look at her, she looks at you, like, and if she smiles, then okay, hey, how you doing? I'm so and so. What do you think of this one? You could play it out before you introduce yourself, right? Here it is. Dave's social interactions for young people. It just, I just fear that they're so reliant upon technology to get by. Like they don't use their brain, and it's fitting. I read this really fascinating study the other day. Granted, it was 149 pages long, so I just went with the 3-page synopsis of about how they did the test on people who use ChatGPT religiously, and then did brain scans on those people versus people who didn't use ChatGPT religiously, and the difference is astounding. Like the ChatGPT people are getting dumber because they don't have to think. They have one thought entered into ChatGPT, and that's it. They don't have to analyze. They should analyze if they do. That's the downside to this shit is that everybody just fucking trusts it, and everything is fucking fake. But these kids, they're going to get dumber as the years go on because they cannot have a conversation. And that's not the only reason they're getting dumber. I'm sure there's others, but that's one reason they're getting dumber. They don't fucking talk. They don't know how to communicate. Everything is by text. Everything is over the internet. They're going to be hunchbacked, fucking mutes. I always thought that like the two fat guys at the end of Wall-E were going to be like where society is going, and I still think a majority of the population is going to be those two guys, 100, 200 years down the road, if there's still a planet. But in the near term, you're just going to have people that are hunchbacked because they're always looking down at their phones, and like they're going to end up with carpal tunnel and arthritis at a much younger age because again, that's all they do is they're keeping their hands in unnatural positions, right? Like I'm getting carpal tunnel from typing, but that's because I've been typing for on a keyboard for 30 years, which is different than using your phone. Slightly, slightly. So I've enjoyed like kind of making things awkward for kids and just being, I don't know, a human and like conversing with people and talking to people. I'm in sales, and so sometimes I'm gregarious, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I want to tell people to just fuck off and shut up and be left alone. That's normal. And you're gonna fucking strike out 10,000 times. Look at Major League ball players now. Striking out is not a detriment because every now and again you hit a home run. And that should be how you look at life. But you can't convince them. They don't want to hear it. They don't listen. They're just so fucking afraid of their own shadow, which is exactly what those fucking piece of shit people like Bezos and Elon and Trump and all these fuckers, that's what they want. They want people to be afraid of their own fucking shadow, paying attention to what's 2 feet in front of them, and that's it. Mission accomplished. That's it. Terribly sorry if I wasn't entertaining enough. But if I wasn't, please call the show, 617-804-1557. Love to hear from you. If you want to be on the show, 617-804-1557. If you want to, I don't know, just call the show, complain. If you want to tell me how much I suck, that's fine. I don't mind. Maybe I'll put you on. Maybe I won't. But I'm on Instagram at ComplainsPod. I'm on Facebook, but fuck Facebook. I'm on Threads, YouTube. You'll find the show on Spotify, Apple. I think iHeart. I don't know. Maybe. It's on a bunch of platforms, but I don't really fucking know. Again, 617-804-1557. Call in. Express opinions. And that'll do. Take care of each other. Well, take care of yourself first, then take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta-ta.